Well, Packers fans, it turns out that Davante Adams is actually too good at catching things, as today he tested positive for COVID-19. And I'll get to in a little bit here why we know the reason he was placed on COVID is because of a positive COVID test and not close contact or anything like that. And then as well, defense coordinator Joe Barry was placed on the COVID-19 list, or he has a positive COVID test. So we know for sure that Joe Barry will be not traveling to the Arizona game this Thursday, as well as not participating in any meetings. And this is just a really awful week for these two things to happen for in both situations, for a player and a coach, because now the coaches have to carry out all of their meetings, all of their planning sessions virtually, which I'm sure they're more apt to, more used to after last year and last off season, having to do every single thing throughout mini camp and all the way up till the last few weeks of training camp virtually, planning out a lot of things. However, that's not ideal, especially for a week where the team only has 3 days to get a game plan, get it out to the players, get it installed. So having to do that virtually adds a whole nother challenge to that. With Davante Adams, obviously, he's a great player. I don't need to tell you that. And the reason we know he has a positive COVID test and he wasn't a close contact or whatever, the reason we know that a positive COVID test was the reason that had him end up on the COVID-19 chart is because he has stated publicly that he is vaccinated in the past. And the team is not allowed to put out the vaccination status of a player, but Davante has previously stated publicly that he is vaccinated. And with NFL rules this year, you cannot be placed on the COVID reserve list if you are vaccinated without it being a positive COVID test. However, this could always be a false positive, but once again, Thursday does not add any benefits to that. Playing on Thursday, having to travel out on Wednesday, really, does not add any benefits to the Packers or Davante Adams situation. In order to be active for Thursday's game, he'd have to have 2 negative tests in a row. So it would have to be for sure a negative or a false positive. So have to test negative tomorrow, test negative on Wednesday, and then I guess you'd be good to fly out with the team on Wednesday if the NFL. I'd assume they have the rapid test and they'd be able to find out by the afternoon when the Packers are traveling. But that's just the news part of it. And then on to the field, the Packers are already in a world of hurt without these two guys missing. You have center Josh Myers, and specifically at the wide receiver position, Marquez Valdes-Scantling is still on injured reserve. So it looked like when he first had that injury a few weeks ago, it looked like there was a chance he might be playing in that upcoming game, but the team wanted to be precautious and they held him out for a few weeks. They've still won games. The offense has still been proficient enough to win those games, but without MVS, without Davante Adams now, the wide receiver room is looking really, really thin, and it's probably going to be Allen Lazard, Randall Cobb being your 2 starting options if neither of those hopeful outcomes end up happening, with MVS being activated and ready to go, and then Davante having 2 negative tests in a row and not practicing on, I guess, their 1 day of practice. So have to be a big game for those wide receivers. One of them is going to have to step up. Randall Cobb, in this situation, you love to have him here, a guy that Aaron Rodgers already has trust with, compared to Malik Taylor and EQ, who are probably going to see an increase of snaps from scrimmage. So, going to be really interesting to see what the Packers devise up against the Arizona Cardinals. Really good defense, and they're going to have to really win the shootout. They're going to have to put a lot of points on the board to outscore Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins on the Cardinals' offensive side of the ball. So, there's that, and the really one thing you say as a Packer fan, even if nothing hopeful happens at that wide receiver position, is, well, at least we have Aaron Jones. That seems to be the common theme in the games that Davante Adams has missed in these past few years. And you got to remember that in the Packers games without Davante Adams in the Matt LaFleur era, they were undefeated. So we'll have to see what this offense drives up as the COVID bug strikes the Packers for only really the second time in the past 2 years. Really unfortunate that it happens to a key player like Davante Adams and as well as your defensive coordinator. But as far as defense coordinator position goes for actually calling the plays during the game, I don't know what type of thing they'll have up with Joe Barry. Maybe he'll just be lying in his bed and watching the game all like us, having some ice cream. Or maybe he'll actually be calling in virtually. I'm not sure. But as far as controlling practices and whatnot, it looks like Jerry Gray, defensive back coach, will be taking that over. He is the only one on that defensive staff with former defense coordinator experience. But really, I have no doubt in the assistant coaches, the position coaches, will be able to lead their group of guys. From what we can tell on the outside, all of those assistant coaches are great at their job, high praise from Matt LaFleur, and they have a high respect from their players. But that's all I got for you today. This video is not supposed to be a political statement, any political gathering or of some type or sort. But I really do hope somebody feels that our comment section is missing their political comments, and that would be absolutely great. We got Jim from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, somebody else from Indiana, and we can really just go at it in the comment section about the vaccine, because more comments equals more engagement, and I'm all for that, folks. That's all I got for you today. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Follow us on Underage Packers on all the social media platforms you can find us, and we'll talk to you later. Go Pack Go!